All right, how's it going, everyone? Once again, this is Jose Trujillo. I'm a fine art painter, and I'm coming to you from my art studio to do another one of my oil painting sessions. This is an 11 by 14 inches, 11 by 14 inches high, all canvas board. And today, I will be doing, we'll be painting hollyhocks. I believe that's how they're pronounced, hollyhocks. This really beautiful flowers. All right, so I'm going to be doing a still life base with hollyhocks. Hope you enjoy it. Here we go. The red that I am coming up with here is it's a red that I like to use a lot. It's a mixture. Now, all you nerds out there, don't judge me. I do what I want. It's a mixture between uh, cadmium red deep red cadmium, and fuchsia or magenta, better known magenta, not fuchsia. I like that red because it just, I mean, a good mixture of that, whatever you come up with, a good mixture of that, it creates a color that I'd like to use for some time now. In Spanish, we say, when we paint flowers or when we see flowers, we say the word encendido, lit, but it's not lit like a light. It's more like fire, encendido. Like it's more. The word tries to represent more fire, right? And the reason why I like that is because that's what a flower is, right? A flower is lit. It's translucent. The translucency allows it to look as if there's a fire. So that color I like using for that, for this type of flowers. And it can go up and down depending on, whether do I need it darker or richer or whatever tone I'm trying to accomplish. But I do like to include both. The cadmium red, I've always been very faithful to it just because when I was younger and I used to go and check out the museums and see what the Impressionists were doing to create such a mixtures of colors, I really took it to heart. I mean, it wasn't something that I went online, and I first of all, I didn't even have a computer, but maybe I had access to it, but that's not what I did. I went I went to the museums and really paid attention to what colors they were using. You know, I didn't read the books because the books sometimes would say that they would use certain colors, but these guys didn't stick with the colors. They changed because they were they were not gonna stick with the same colors. They changed. And if they stuck with the same colors, it wasn't because it was magic. It was because they were used to those colors, and they had almost a formulated way of doing things by the time they were older. I believe, anyways. So I really took it to heart, and I wanted to really learn to see what they were doing. So that's what I did. I studied the colors of the Impressionists. I mean, study like sit there and look at them for 5 hours every time you go and just look at a painting. Don't look at different paintings. And I really look at the color. Really look at not to try to mimic them. That wasn't the thing. Although I started with that idea, but very very soon I found out that wasn't the thing. That wasn't the more I did it, the more I went and I checked and I paid attention and I studied that. The more I realized I was coming up with my own version, my own concoction of it. It wasn't to, oh yes, finally I paint like Monet. It felt that way in the beginning because I was young and I didn't know really. I had no idea. I just knew that I was doing the right thing by paying attention, a little extra attention, but that wasn't the angle. The angle became very evident after doing it, for a while. I was like, oh, I see. I see what these guys are doing. Another thing that I realized is that how did they paint so many paintings? And many people argue about that. They say, oh, they had art, little elves, little helpers, Santa's little helpers, right? Studio assistants or whatever they were called. I believe that would have been more for like huge works or for sculptors like Rodin, of course, which we know he had. Yeah, I mean, he had to, assistants, kind of like clones today. People get upset, but he's doing this huge work or this huge numbers of work. You need assistants. You're not gonna. When are you gonna finish? Right. But I think that these artists, like the Impressionists, like Monet and these guys, were more. They were very industrial. I mean, that was their era. They were industrialists. So they believed in hard work. It wasn't like today, like, do I feel like painting? No, like, you're talking about a time when people actually worked. Like today people cry a lot about working, but and I know it's a touchy subject for many people, but you're talking about a time when these people, they actually worked. They believed in that. They believed in a very strong work ethic. I admire that a lot. You don't see that too often. You don't see that too often. You see a lot of people wanting to I know because I was one of them, wanting to work a little bit and then rest. Paint an hour and rest 3, for whatever reason. Maybe I earned it. Maybe I earned the 3 hours. I certainly don't do that anymore, but I used to when I was younger. I wasn't committed. And society tells you also. Like I'm sure society used to tell them that they didn't work enough back then. Where society tells you work too much today. Society likes to say that, People work too much. They're like, oh, you painted all of that? Oh man, you work too much. It's like, no, I still got my 8 hours of sleep and I still did all the other things I was supposed to do and I care about in my personal life, in my family life. It's just that I don't come in the studio and paint a painting and play Xbox for 4 hours, or play with my phone for, I don't know, half an hour at a time, and then at the end of the day, get upset with myself because there's not enough time, I just don't do that. I consider time very valuable. It's a very valuable thing. And it took me a while to understand how valuable time was. I didn't get it right away. I really pushed myself and learned about time and what it meant. Because I wanted to get more things accomplished. So if you want to get more things accomplished, you got to do more with the time you have. There's no way around it. You either do more with the time you have or you do less. I don't know. There's no way around that. It is as it is. All right, everyone. This is Jose Trujillo. I'm a fine art painter, and I believe this little masterwork. Here's another thing. Don't call your paintings little studies or little. They're not. They may be small, they may be quick, they may be, if you do plein air or whatever, don't call them little anythings. This is the product. This is the product. It's not preparation, it's not a rehearsal. If this was your last hour to live, you wouldn't call it, I'm gonna do a little quick sketch. No, this is the product. This painting would not exist the way it looks had it not been for 20 years of experience, of practice. It just would not exist. So this is not a little study. Here's another little tip for people who collect my artwork out there and that watch me on eBay. When you go and bid on an auction, a lot of the auctions that I start at 99 cents of the small paintings, you're not bidding on a little painting or on a little, practice sketch or anything. You're bidding on an original painting. You're bidding on the painting. It's a little tip out there, Don't feel like, oh yeah, I bid on a little 8x10 painting, and of his auctions that, he sets out for with no reserve and, starting at $1. There's my plug right there. And, know that you're not bidding on that. You're bidding on the result of over 20 years of experience. So it doesn't matter whether it's this size, or a huge painting or whatever. It is the same. It is the result of the 20 years plus experience that I've been, since I started painting and I started creating artwork. So there's a little tip right there. Next time you find yourself bidding on the artwork, know that you're bidding on something very valuable. I'll leave you with that. My name is Jose Trujillo. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to leave your comments at the bottom. I almost forgot to. There we go. Take care. Bye-bye.